And will the clerk please call the roll? Keegan Tripp.
Here.
Cynthia Schomburg. Here. Joshua Gall.
Here.
Dylan Lehman. Here. Jordan Thompson.
Here.
Nate Chang.
Here.
Jason Leclerc.
Here.
Zoe Stankovitz. Here. Olivia Britton. Here. Isrek Erica. Here. Kyle Ricker. Excused. Ray Vanderwood.
Here.
Ezekiel Delorme.
Here.
Ryan St. Lawrence.
Here.
Joseph Elliott.
Here.
Riley St. Pierre.
Here.
Casper Cowan. Excused. Briar Chapin. Excused. Kai Whitehead. Excused. Elena Dana. Here. Sky Van Beek. Excused. Isabella Lammerman. Excused. Kayla Kearns. Excused. No, she's here.
She says here in the chat. She's trying to get the voice up.
Christian Moore Gordon. Excused. Jeremy Cullimore.
Here.
Zachary Law. Excused. Ethan Friday. Excused. Hazel Sparks. Here. Alan Villette.
Here.
Taylor Stanford. Excused. Haley Inman. Here. Marissa Schultz. Excused. Jonathan Harper. Excused. Lauren DeVoe. I'm putting in for a little thing. Okay, thank you. Candy Carpenter. Isabella Fancook. Here. Alex Emery. Larson Gamble. Excused. Sharifa Bed. Excused. Lauren Dijon. Nico Virgo Dumsh. Excused. And James Selvius.
Present.
I don't. I'm now looking for the approval of the 11/18/2025 minutes in this agenda. Senator,
I move to approve the 11/18/25 minutes in this agenda.
if that's a pleasure of the Senate, that is adopted. We'll now be moving into general good welfare where any non-member may address the GSS for no more than 5 minutes. Do we have any speakers? Seeing none. Seeing nothing else under new senators, officers, appointments, and resignations, we'll now be moving into club maintenance, starting with the National Association for Music Education Collegiate Chapter for preliminary recognition. Do we have a speaker? All right, if you want to tell us a little bit about your club.
Yeah, so the National Association for Music Education is a national organization, and we at the University of Maine represent the Maine NACME organization. So what we do is we are the group of all the music educators in Maine, and we do is we actually go to Congress in DC, and we represent and advocate for music funding in our schools, why music is important, and kind of work with the national government and all the other NACME groups throughout the country.
We also hold events for music majors here on campus. The national organization provides resources for research and furthering education, as well as providing a community for majors here.
Great. Any questions for our speakers? President Tripp.
Do you intend to eventually request funds from student government?
Possibly, we've been able to raise all of our own funds to get ourselves to DC, like costs all included. This is more just so we can host events, publicly reserved rooms, and have a campus group, so that we're able to communicate with all of our students at the same time, and just to be recognized as the official through the university, since we are the representatives of this organization for the state of Maine.
President Tripp.
More of a comment. I suggest that you consider it moving forward so that we can light some of that bill that you just outlined.
All right.
Are there any questions for speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
3-0 pass.
I'm now looking for a motion to accept the committee's recommendation. Senator Elliott.
I make the motion to accept the recommendations.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed, all abstaining, seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We'll now be moving on to Ignite for final recognition.
Thank you for having us. We are Ignite, which is the International Global Network of Mission Driven Education here at the University of Maine. We're the de facto international business club through the Maine Business School. We've already been recognized through the Maine Business School, and we are a student-led research club focusing on tariffs and how they impact Maine businesses.
Great. Are there any questions for our speakers? Thank you all.
Do you ask us for funding in the future? Yes.
President Tripp.
Before,
So we like to attend conferences, and we are planning to attend the US Canada Economic Forum conference in Boston in April.
We just attended a conference last week, with the same organization, so they invited us to go to the one in April as well.
Great.
So, yeah.
Are there any more questions for our speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
3-0 pass.
I'm looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator St. Pierre.
Move to approve the committee's recommendation. Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We will now be moving into club presentation of the International Affairs Association. All of you, I'm reading. Yeah, you guys have.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Felling. I'm the treasurer of the UMSG of the United Nations and International Affairs Association. Last 2 weeks ago, we went on a committee conference in Boston. With help from the student government, we were able to pay our hotel bill, which was very beneficial because the conference was held in the conference room of the hotel, so we did not have to pay for anything extra. And it really helped us out a lot. We were able to represent UMaine well at one of the top collegiate model event conferences in the nation. And we used it as an opportunity to kind of share about our school and also as an opportunity to connect with other schools and get some other information about how they run their own clubs. And so we plan on introducing some of that stuff into our own club. And it was just overall a great experience. We were able to go to several places around Boston. I got very good Chinese food, which is the first good Chinese food I've had in a very long time. So it was a fantastic conference. And I thank you guys so much for your assistance and paying for our hotel.
Do you have any questions for our speaker? People.
What was your favorite part of the experience, aside from the Chinese food?
I really enjoyed I was in a mystery ad hoc committee, which was, so they gave us no information beforehand. It's about the TV show Severance, which I've never seen before, but it was really interesting learning a lot about that. And I had a great time with it.
Senator St. Lawrence.
Having done a model event before, was this one like the ones you do in high school, or was this even more?
This was the hardest conference I've ever been to, and I have 6 years of experience. Some people were very intense in this conference, so but a lot of the schools do have like specific Model UN classes where they meet 3 times a week. We meet for once a week for 45 minutes, so that was great.
Representative Emery.
In the past, the Student Heritage Alliance Council has kind of provided a space for Model UN to present to the council. Would this be something that you guys would be interested in the following semester?
Of course, yeah.
Awesome. We'll see if we can make that happen. Thank you.
Do you have any more questions for our speaker? Seeing none, thank you so much for coming here and presenting to us. This was very great. Thank you so much. We have nothing under guest speakers, as I moved our guest speakers to next week, considering the lack of attendance for this week. I'm now looking for a motion to move new business before guest speakers. Senator Sparks.
I move to move new business before guest speakers.
Sorry, executive.
Executive reports.
Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, sorry.
Did we also need to move the consent agenda?
Yeah. But I was there, like, we went through that this suspension of the rules.
No, I will accept that that was the original intent.
That was the original one.
Debate. Seeing none, all those in favor, all opposed, all abstaining, seeing a majority in the affirmative, it passes. I wanted to clarify that all the changes that we've been making today is based off of the quorum. And to meet quorum is why we have people on Zoom. If not, we would not be able to have this meeting right now. And the ways that we're adjusting is to accommodate for people who cannot be here for the entire meeting time, or else we would not be able to pass a single thing tonight. That would set us back tremendously. And not only us as an organization, but the folks in the back who are keeping funding. I'm now looking for approval of the consent agenda. Senator.
Consent agenda.
Second. Hearing a second, it's the pleasure of the Senate that it's adopted. We're now be moving into new business, starting with 46S EBC 137 Kappa Kappa Psi.
I'm representing Kappa Psi. We are the band service organization here on campus. We provide all sorts of different service related activities for all the bands on campus, which there are, I believe, 8 of them that we are responsible for funding different things for. The specific request for today's money is to go towards the band banquet for the marching band. The marching band just finished their season up with the last football game that we lost. There are about 100 members of the marching band on campus, and they work incredibly hard, including showing up a week before school starts and going from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day for 6 days straight to prepare for football. There are 7 events that we perform at throughout the year, which usually lasts about 8 to 10 hours those days. The event is a banquet put on for the band to show up to and acknowledge all the stuff that has been accomplished that year, and to represent the seniors that are graduating from the band who have put in so much to the band in this university.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker? President Tripp?
I just wanted, point of information. I wanted to outline and thank you again. If you remember last week when we passed the raise to the maximum that we can fund meals, a lot of that had to do with the fact that Kappa Kappa Psi came in and kind of pointed out a problem that EDC had. So we're grateful that we could support this as much as we did. And we look forward to hearing about it afterwards.
Any more questions for the speaker?
I do not. Oh, sorry. Misunderstood.
Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500, pass as amended.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Inman.
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Senator St. Pierre.
I just had a question of what was the amendment? The original request was for 22 and change per person per food. We only amended the amount we can spend per food up to 20, and so that difference was just accounting for that. Okay. And there's some changes around as well with like how much we fund versus how much they fund for certain items.
Are there any more questions for discussion? That was discussion. Debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We'll now be moving on to 46S, EBC 140 for Black Bear Catholics.
Hello, I'm Dakota Davis. I'm the treasurer for Black Bear Catholic. We're the Catholic group on campus. We have the Newman Center that's new down on College Ave. The funding request today is for us to go to SEEK, which is the Catholic Conference for College Students. This year it is in Columbus, Ohio, and that funding is going toward hotel costs, registration, and plane tickets.
Do you have any questions for our speaker? Senator Elliott,
How many people are going? 18.
any more questions? President Tripp,
We remind the Senate how much funding you secured for the event.
Yes, we secured 6,600 so far.
any more questions? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500 ought to pass as amended.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Elliott,
I move to amend the
hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Senator St. Pierre,
So, what was the amendment? So originally the request was for over the amount that we're allowed to give, especially in terms of registration. But EBC also chose to amend that figure down even lower than like our maximum amount, just to put it more in line with how we've funded previous clubs in the past, just in terms of like pure amount for the amount of people going and being fair to clubs.
President Tripp,
What was the breakdown per student that we ended up with? You remember?
I will get that originally.
Okay. I just think it's worth it.
You want?
5 students off.
Yeah,
You did. And so essentially what we did is, this is one of the largest conferences that we're sending people to. And so they're asking for 18 people's worth of funding. We subtracted 5 to put it more in line with the funding that we've given to other clubs. And then from that, we just took it out of their most restrictive area, which is seat registration. Just to kind of account for any changing that might happen, so they don't have to reallocate and transfer to nature. Which the maximum that we could have funded would have put it around, it was $9,990 and like 27 cents. And we just scaled it down by that much. And so now it's $7,367 and change.
President Tripp,
and point of information, well, we gave this club significantly less last year because of the budget issue, but 2 years ago, when we were in the budget crisis, we gave them around 5,000. So this is around a 23% increase.
Yeah.
To the previous funding, so we felt it was fair.
are there any more questions? Okay, are there any more points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority, that passes.
The chat.
Yeah, so I can see people looking things to say.
Yes.
We'll now be moving into 46S EBC 154 for the American Marketing Association.
Hi, my name is Logan Brower. I'm the treasurer for the American Marketing Association here at UMaine. And we are requesting $3,150 to fund our to the International Collegiate Conference in Chicago, which will be in French.
Are there any questions for our speaker? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500 ought to pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Inman,
I move to approve the committee's recommendations.
7.
hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All opposed? All abstaining, seeing a clear majority of the affirmative, that passes. We'll now move in 46S EBC 156, Panhellenic Council for the NGLA Leadership Conference.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily Neff and I'm the Vice President of the Panhellenic Council. The Panhellenic Council is basically the governing body for all stories that are recognized through NPC, which is the National Panhellenic Conference. And I'm requesting funding for the NGLA conference. It's going to be February 25th through March 1st. And this will be the first time since COVID will be going. And it'll be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this conference will include just the president, vice president, risk and judicial affairs, and also a vice president recruitment. And I feel like this conference would be like a great opportunity to get new insight and also just like what like other like Greek communities are doing like for other colleges. And I know like for the past few years, like Greek life has changed drastically. So I feel like this will not only help me, but also like risk and recruitment to find new ways on how we can strengthen the Greek community and also like get more involved with our school.
Do you have any questions for the speaker? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500, ought to pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator C.
I'll add as stipulated, in the stipulation that we added. Or I guess just as stipulated, and then somebody can ask for a stipulation, I guess.
I'm now looking for
Approval.
of the committee's recommendation.
Yeah.
Senator St. Pierre.
Move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Senator Senator, I'm sorry.
What was the stipulation?
And so, in the office, we've heard that some of the funding that had been allocated during the annual budget for the recruitment software may not be being used, and it might have been given. They might not have used it at all, and it was $1,600, which is a good chunk that would go towards this. And so the stipulation that we added was that because this isn't until next semester, that funds from that aren't actually used, because there might be funds that come in the spring semester as we learned. But in the past, it's only been $500 and not $1,600.
Yes,
And
that's
so-
from what I remember, yes.
And so any funds that aren't used for recruitment software will be going towards this before an allocated figure is touched. Well, that was the stipulation.
Any more points for discussion? Seeing none. Debate. President Tripp.
I think this is a really important opportunity for the Panhellenic Council. We're going to be seeing a similar request for the Interfraternity Council. Myself and James has spoken about this early semester, and we've been talking a lot about needing to support kind of in the leadership development side of things, both of our Greek life representatives. Not that they're doing a terrible job, but I think that they've been disconnected from their national counterparts for a long time, and that's been kind of an untapped resource. It's kind of really interesting. The Interfraternity Council, as it is nationally, from what I understand, I guess someone can poke my hole through this, but if I'm correct, was founded here on this campus in 1913 by the Senior Skulls Society. And they founded the first interfraternity council ever. So I think that that's kind of a good thing to be back into what actually came out of UMaine, and hopefully we'll be able to kind of support their work coming back and building a stronger Greek life out of it. So that's my tidbit.
Any more points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We'll now be moving into 46S POL 152, the 2025 to 2026 wage increase of the UMSG and directors revised.
So this is just a revision. The numbers that I used last time were based off of their base pay was 17, but it was actually 15. And I mixed up those numbers when I was accounting for it. So this is fixing the job descriptions to read correctly.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500 ought to pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Inman.
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Hearing a second, we will now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Well, now moving into 46S, POL 153, urge for improved communication and student involvement, and I now seek chair. Would you be able to bring it up with?
Oh, the communication, actually.
That is actually, I just took that out, actually. See, there's one, so taking care of it, Bill's office. Yeah, I just Hazel gave up.
Yeah. Something that we want simple to.
But does that count as automatic abstain, which doesn't transform surface?
I think her vote is.
Yeah.
So.
That's all.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, because it removes Hazel from being somebody who counts. Wait, she becomes the chair.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Small.
Yeah, if you have.
Rather than-
It shrinks that by one.
But she's not a Mr. Senator anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'm at 11 out.
Or essentially, she also is an abstain vote, so you could see it either way, but either way, she's.
11 out of 29. She's fine.
But she's no longer a senator
Yeah.
because she's
I
chair.
mean, she's a senator, but she's the president of the Senate currently.
Seated.
Pro tempore.
Good job.
So we're sort of more.
No, I voted.
It's 11 out of 26.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's look.
All right. So this came about not only through one instance, but over the years and many instances of miscommunication. And I will read it just as I have written and we'll go from there. So this is urge for improved communication and student involvement. In Act 2, urge the Office of the President and all other University of Maine administrative offices and officials to strengthen transparency, communication practices, and structured student involvement in institutional decisions that directly affect student life, academic programs, cultural resources, facilities, and campus operations. Whereas the University of Maine is a public institution committed to serving its students, and student input is an essential element of effective shared governance, campus planning, and institutional decision-making. And whereas numerous university decisions in recent years, including but not limited to space relocations, program relocations, facility changes, academic structure updates, and policy adjustments, have been communicated to students only after decisions were finalized or in late stages of development, prompting concerns about the timeliness, transparency, and inclusiveness of such communications. And whereas several of these decisions have had direct and substantial impacts on student programs, cultural centers, academic facilities, research resources, and campus organizations, yet many affected students and student groups were not consulted during the planning phases. And whereas the recent appointment of students to various presidential committees represents a meaningful first step towards enhancing student participation in university governance. However, these committees are primarily designed to provide broad, overarching input on long-term institutional matters and may not fully address the need for timely, targeted student consultation on specific issues. Establishing additional mechanisms for direct, situation-specific student involvement, particularly in decisions affecting individual facilities, academic programs, cultural centers, or operational changes, would help ensure that decisions reflect the perspectives of those who most directly impacted. And whereas improved transparency and structured avenues for student participation would support stronger institutional trust, more effective implementation of university initiatives, and better alignment between administrative decisions and student needs. And whereas students, student-led organizations, and campus stakeholders have expressed interest in more consistent opportunities for participation in discussions about campus facilities, academic restructuring, cultural and identity-based spaces, and other significant matters. And whereas this issue of communication is procedural and be constructively addressed through improved systems, communication channels, and expectations of early engagement. Resolved, the University of Maine Student Government urges the President, Provost, Director of Facilities Management, Vice President for Finance and Administration, Director of Space and Capital Management, and other relevant administrators to implement strengthened transparency measures for major university decisions. And resolved, UMSG further urges the university to adopt a standard practice for early stage student engagement for such as thorough forums, advisory meetings, or stakeholder consultations prior to finalizing decisions that substantially affect student life, academic programs, or campus facilities. And resolved, UMSG encourages the administration to develop or expand communication systems capable of providing timely, acceptable, and clear updates to the student body regarding major planning efforts, proposed transitions, and relevant timeliness. And resolved, UMSG affirms its willingness to participate in these efforts and support the creation of long-term, sustainable structures for shared communication and decision-making processes across campus.
Are there any questions for our speaker? Seeing none, the committee's recommendation is 501. Is there any discussion on these act urge? Representative Emery?
I think this is a really great measure, and I hope that this sees support.
That's debate.
Oh, my bad. All right, that's actually.
Any discussion?
Our point of order, you needed to look for the committee's recommendation and then approval of the committee's recommendation.
Oh,
So I see approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Dana.
second.
With that pleasure of the commission. And that passes.
No.
Hearing a second.
Hearing a second, you'll now enter discussion.
Hearing a second, I'll enter discussion. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Any debate? Representative Emery?
I think this is a great thing that's happening, and I hope this sees support.
President Tripp?
I can speak for time. This is obviously not an exciting resolution that we have to pass. And I think that it does carry a little bit of sentiments about the progress that is being made. But I think that we can all agree in this room that this is an area that needs to be strengthened. I intend to take this to my meeting with President Bernie Mundy on next Monday, as well as my work into the Presidential Advisory Committee on Administrative Excellence, and look forward to carrying this message across. That's it.
Any other debate? Seeing none, we'll move into voting. All those in favor?
Order, I guess. Sure. Are we voting on approving the committee's recommendation or voting the resolution?
The resolution as a whole.
The committee, yeah, that was it.
Okay. Going back, we are voting on this resolution as a whole going through. All those in favor?
Unanimous, Mr. Chair.
All opposed?
Oh.
All abstaining? With a clear majority, that passes.
I just want to think that it says, the chairs are the actual elected chairs, the only person who's allowed to reclaim the chairship without.
Is there a Senate vote that can?
Yeah, well, you can vacate the chair, which would then take away that power. It would be a 2/3 majority to vacate the chair.
Something we might do this.
Oh, yeah, give Kyle the.
This meeting right now.
We're now moving into 46S EPC 157, UMSG student wage increase allocation for spring 2026.
This is the allocation for all of the base pays as approved. I don't know, a couple minutes ago, with that ABPSD and director change. And so this accounts for, if that were to pass. Yeah, it accounts for all the taxable wages of the execs and our representatives, DOCs, all of the taxable wages of boards and community associations, the payroll taxes on those and the unemployment tax, which, for those of you who don't know, that's like broken down in an annual budget when it comes to compensation.
Are there any questions for the speaker? President Tripp?
Do you know off the top of your head what this would make, for the sake of transparency, the percentage of student wages out of our full budget, annual budget?
Wages. Not off the top of my head,
Could you find out?
yeah.
Senator Sparks.
Do you know what it is currently? Off the top of your head?
Currently, it might be. Hold on, not off the top of my head, I'm finding it.
Okay, we're gonna give a moment to post this information up.
Sorry, I know I feel like the most time consuming thing in the entire world in the meeting that we don't have. We have 17 minutes to wrap up. At least the business of the Senate, we can technically go through reports. Without quorum, it's not moving forward. If we want. I figured we should probably go through executive reports because my report is already 3 pages, but we can kick it to next week if you want. I am relevant things to say, obviously. Maybe some relevant things. I'm just spelling the sign.
So without accounting for any taxes or anything like that, this will put it to 7.4% of our annual budget goes towards undergraduate student workers in boards and in boards, community associations, and in exec roles. Director and all that other student government. Not accounting for any taxes, which probably stops like 80%.
Are there any more questions? We're gonna take here.
So I know that, like. The rec boards and like those members get paid to be at these meetings. Do all execs get paid to be here?
It's part of our 15 hours a week. And so rep boards get 5 hours a week and 2 of those hours. And technically a half hour is cabinet. So they get 2.5 of UMSG related office hours.
BP, thanks.
Except for the ABP.
Except for the ABPSC.
The Senate work captain?
Correct, who then works a full 10 hours in the office, which makes sense because that's 5 hours less. And those 5 hours are usually spent in EDC, Senate.
Are there any more questions for the speaker? Seeing none, oh,
Yes. I don't know if I should save this for discussion, but I think it's a valid question. So. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is for the wages increasing for the spring semester. So the following year, this amount, the 11,000 would basically double.
Yep.
are there any more questions? Seeing none,
Sorry, it'll probably more than double, because these figures will also account for the new increases based on CPI for our paid full-time employees that we have English on and
any more questions? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
500, I'll pass.
I'm now looking for approval of the committee's recommendation. Senator Edmund.
I'll move to approve the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Seeing nothing else for new business, we'll be moving back to the executive reports. Starting with the president.
Okay, thank you guys for moving through what was certainly an odd meeting so far. To my folks on Zoom, you guys are troopers, we really appreciate it, and I promise everybody's next week's self really appreciates it, as well as the students who got their funding released. A reminder that I do need to hold cabinet after this, so stick around if you're in cabinet. Ezekiel, well, maybe I'll do a digital vote by the end of Wednesday. We'll see. I'm gonna decide by the end of the meeting, I'll let you know. Housekeeping. Since we are in the spirit of being thankful, I want to express my appreciation for all the work that you guys do as senators. Half of you are not in the room, but it still applies. I may be 3 years removed, but I know what it takes to keep showing up for a student body and volunteering your time and talent. And I really do appreciate it. I've never had such engaged nor so many bosses. And I don't think I will for probably a while, though that would be cool if I got a position that high immediately out of graduation. But I know I speak for the rest of the execs when I say that we are grateful for you taking care of your officers. The next thing I wanted to bring up was just for transparency's sake, since it was the conversation we had in the last meeting. The post was made about the increases. I received no outreach, and it continues to be what it is. Moving into old business, I have not forgotten about the embassy process. I know that not much has been updated, but I spoke with Advisor Sadelko the other day, and she agreed to review these over the break. So I've added it to my work to do over break. And I'll be assisting with that. And hopefully by the first few weeks, we'll have something ready for tangible to present and implement. Again, I see very positive all of the changes that we outlined in the memo that Sean drafted. So looking forward to that. The syllabus bank. I presented a resolution that was sponsored by the GSG president to their Senate, which is step 2 in seeing this process through. I expect to be fully considered by next Friday and hope to see them pass it to join us in this effort toward a more transparent academic process. I'm continuing my work with the Faculty Senate Academic Affairs Committee. Those engagements have gotten certainly interesting, but I believe that they continue to be productive. The chair is pulling for us and asking her peers to outline the committee must-haves for the support and not all over details to be ironed out in the collaborative process afterwards. I feel like I keep getting asked questions that can only be answered once all of the people, again, that we've reiterated will be equal stakeholders on the other side of this, get to air those concerns. And they kind of seem to want more so a fleshed out proposal. So we're working kind of through that miscommunication. I also spoke with Provost Paquette about meeting with him and the Faculty Senate Academic Affairs Committee Chair to iron out those final concerns and help allay them and hopefully see this final resolution pass the Faculty Senate. It's looking like next semester. I'm going to say it every single time, even though it literally is a broken record. We are closer than we were yesterday, and I am optimistic about where it's going. Moving into a Crossland/Budworm Lab update. The information we requested has been updated to the FAQ website that was put together by the student leads, notably much later than promised. Fair's fair there. VP Shelmerdine and I went to pay the Spruce Budworm Lab director, Dr. Angela Meck, a visit and learned several troubling things about the existing relocation plan. It seems that numbers crunched seemingly numbers crunched for the moving seems to be from an outdated report when the lab was half its size. The website claims that it'll be an increase of space to 2,200 square feet, but this is in fact a downsize from its current 2,400 square feet, and the director expressed a desperate need to expand. We will be bringing forward this unraveling information to the president and getting further to the seemingly endless rabbit hole. We intend to strengthen a proposed resolution that came through Polypro with this information and see it considered in the General Student Senate by December 9th. Moving into new business. Steve Gold Award Committee. Drew Hook, the director of the IMRC, also serves as the chair of the Steve Gold Award Committee. And he's requesting a he's requesting a UMSG representative. I'm going to read the email real quick. It's short. The function of this committee is to award persons, whether that be student, staff, faculty, or faculty members or organizations who have, by their conduct, demonstrated superior qualities of unselfishness and compassion in the course of their service to the university and its ideals. Those involved in acts of heroism may also be nominated. More information on this award, as well as previous awardees, can be found on the website. The call for nominations will go out early next semester, and the award will be presented at the UMaine Student Symposium. I think this is a great chance to recognize the amazing people that make up this campus. I don't think the award has been given out in a few years. The last one I could see was 2021. This is huge. I know that in the past there has been organizations that have won it, fraternities have won it. I don't think student government has ever won it. I know that student body presidents in the past have won it. So I think that this is a really cool chance to be involved in that. And if you are interested in sitting on that committee and getting to review what will probably be a very expensive list of some really cool people, please let me know. I would love to have somebody on that committee, and I cannot do it myself. Moving into the good neighbor updates. As promised, I expressed my concerns and frustration to Councilor Demerit. He agreed that this work should be done while students are here. Thanked me for my email, which I'm happy to drop in the chat if someone wants to see it, and committed to the following changes. First, a subgroup of the Good Neighbor Committee to be formed, inclusive of our student reps, to build a package of ordinance changes to the council before the end of next semester. And that we use this subgroup to also assist the council in how to best inform the student community of the ordinance generally and changes made. I will continue to monitor this situation and appreciate, of course, Senator Elliott, who continues to lead this charge and do a very good job. I thought the email went good. The response was good. He also talked about strengthening how we're going to do it over the summer, but I think that we all agree that it's important that things that directly impact the campus are done while the campus is here. Finally, I am meeting with President Fernie Monday, December 1st. VP Shelmerdine and have our second 2-on-2 with her and Dean Gifford. We will be bringing up updates around the MCEC Student Advisory Board, the Communication Act that just passed, the aforementioned concerns around the Crossland and Spruce Budworm Lab removal, student wages, and the concert approvals. We got a long list of things, and I realized I promised her an agenda by the end of the day, so I will send that early morning. Let me know if there are any additional topics that you would like addressed in this meeting, and that is the end of my report.
Moving on to my report, I do apologize again for the setup to this meeting and how it seemed like very wishy-washy. Up till like 30 minutes till this meeting, I didn't think we were gonna be able to have it. This morning, I was feeling great. We only had 4 call outs, and then all within the last 2 hours, it culminated to 14 call outs. So that was just stressful, and thank you, Fanny, for helping with all of that was. And to maintain quorum is why we had to shift it up and to make sure that the people on Zoom were there. And me taking the time was so I could see if people were voting or not. So I apologize for how out of the norm this meeting has been so far. But moving forward, I sat down with our representative Emery and then Senator St. Pierre last week to go over the Crofton Hall resolution, which will now be including things from the ESL and the Budworm Lab. I had a meeting this morning with the past advisor to the engineering ambassadors for how it ran. Unfortunately, to hear the word, the new advisor did not make the meeting. So not a lot of progress was made for the new vision. However, I did see how I would be setting it up in tandem with the SAB, but completely separate. And I got to see the bylaws of general set up for this, and I'll be following up with Taylor Ward on her absence. I had the Presidential Space Committee on Friday where we discussed UMaine's Gordian presentation, which highlighted the space utilization data compared to peer institutions. The discussion covered campus space planning, building conditions, and infrastructure challenges with particular attention to capital investments, deferred maintenance, and the need for modernization projects under the current budget situation. The committee also reviewed campus facilities management policy and space management guidelines, noting that implementing these standards would require further policy development. Lastly, the committee reviewed a presentation regarding the system's new APL on space utilization. From this meeting, I do have some notes. None of the annual call submissions were able to be carried out from last year due to the budget constraints, so they'll be moved back a year. The goal of this committee this year will not be reviewing the annual call because of the ones last year will be considered at the same level. It'll be now looking at the capital plan and moving forward for the next 10 years. Around 40 out of 200 buildings on campus, per the Gordian report, are rated at a net value of 0. But the Gordian report only goes to 0, and most of them, of those 40, are valued in the negative. We are second to last out of our peer institutions and have a net asset value cumulatively at 42% when our peer institutions are in the mid-70s. This percentage is created from the replacement value minus the building needs divided by the replacement value to then create a percentage point. And all of these are built off of the like for like. And so if something was built in the 1950s, we'd be replacing it with the exact same thing, nothing modernized, no new HVAC, no AC, exactly as it was. So the Gordon report in itself is somewhat misleading because all numbers are construed down. Other highlights include the university's push for consolidating buildings as per the Gordon report, we have too many small buildings that are not being fully utilized. This is why we have a lower tech rating than our peer institutions, which affects wear and tear of space, custodial staffing levels, maintaining staffing levels, user perception, energy consumption, maintenance materials. And we want to increase this density factor, which affects the tech rating. I will be putting these presentations in the chat. There will be 2 of them. And so you guys will be better able to understand and absorb these numbers. We want to increase the density factor, and they plan on doing this by consolidating programs into larger buildings and tearing down or gutting existing facilities. And so these are like the smaller things, and an example would be like York Village. Majority of the buildings were built post-war from 1951 to 1975, which means lower quality, and they need more repairs and renovations. As of the last 2 years, we've increased our reinvestment into campus sustainability, but the last 10-year span that this report looked at, we are substantially lower than our peers in our reinvestment. The only time we've kind of broken even is last year. Briefly looked at the UMS APL space management policy, and this policy establishes a comprehensive framework to optimize the use of university managed space and their facilities support our academic and operational goals while promoting a productive and inclusive environment for all stakeholders and supports commitment to this UMS strategic plan. Strategic. I'm sorry, I do actually have a diagnosed speech impediment. That one was bad.
Oh, I was like,
What? I was just seeing what word was.
It aims to meet the challenging needs of our occupants, and the underutilized space should be reviewed for reallocation, renovation, or disposal.
I'm hearing that.
We're looking at you, not some.
Robert St. Louis of the Facilities Management reached out to me today regarding lighting on campus and that there's a current initiative from FM, and I directed them to our services chair who will be heading that. Keaton and I did play investigators on Friday and Monday. That was very informative and saddening to say the least. And Keaton and I do have a meeting with Joe next week, and if there's anything you want us to bring up, please let us know as echoed in Keegan's report. Next, we'll be moving on to the Vice President of Student Organization of Financial Affairs.
Good evening, everyone. To start off, I'll give the non-traditional report. I met with Jane Boyden last Friday with VP Shelmerdine, where we chatted a little bit about like figures for the future, possible ways to invest in order to increase enrollment, and possible funding from the Maine State Legislature, but that's not going to address any immediate concerns. It's more down the road address. And we also talked about student wages and learning who to contact for information regarding the student pay scale. Now it's through HR, and she's let us know that as long as we send all of the questions that we receive to her, she'll forward them to HR and give us back a big response to any questions that people have regarding student wages. Now my traditional report, our going projected and allocated this week is $162,839.12. For returns to an allocated, we have $62.79 from Triota and $88.33 from the Services Committee. For transfers, Triota is transferring $10 from their flyers. Their stickers line item, no budget lines added. For office budgets, we approved the Operation Hearts office budget of $200 in the consent agenda. No other items for consent agenda, and for resolutions, you all heard wage increase, Panhandle, Black Bear Catholic, Kappa Kappa Sun, Association, and report.
Vice President of Student Organizations.
Hey guys, SOC gave one of the big club storage lockers to Hammond Club this week, and we had one club for prelim. Next week at SOC, I will be considering the name and bylaws change of the Honors College Student Activities Board. They will be coming back as a representative board with a brand new organizational structure that, in my opinion, ensures better longevity than the current model. I will not be making them go through the entire classification process, but this is because there is a specific constitutional right for them to be a rep board. It will ultimately fall on my and SOC's discretion. If you have any thoughts about this decision, email me and I'll make sure the committee takes it into consideration. And with that, have a good break, everybody. End of report.
Vice President of Student Entertainment.
Hi, everyone. 225 tickets were used last week at Black Bear Cinemas. The Beat UNH t-shirts have essentially been ordered. I just have to get a mock-up from the guy at WS Emerson to correct for like the colors of the shirts and all that and make sure that like it works for like the design. But other than that, they're essentially going to get ordered. And then I'm still waiting to hear back about some things regarding the concert, but I should be able to make an announcement once we get back from break. As all of you know, I handle a lot of very confidential stuff, but I plan on keeping you guys in the loop as much as possible. End of report.
Vice President of Student Leadership.
As a reminder, the retreat will be not this Friday because we're off, but next Friday. Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. Please take photos and send them to DOC LeClaire. This week I spent many hours calling and emailing Google and Canva to convince them that we are separate from the university, so they'll give us free things. End of report.
Advisor to Student Government.
Hey everybody, just some updates on making sure if you're using campus groups, keep doing that. We've seen a big uptick in events coming up. Student involvement's got its cookie decorating next week, finals programming in conjunction with some help from student government, so that'll be a fun one. And then in the spring, there is a deadline for any clubs that want to table at the spring involvement fair that we're doing. It'll be inside in the union on the second floor. The deadline for that is before Monday the 1st. We just want to get maps out and make sure that we have enough space for every club and adjust if we need to.
Are there any questions for the executive reports? President Tripp.
Point of information, we have officially fallen below quorum, and the only motion that could be made moving forward is a motion to adjourn. Just so everybody else.
That means that we can still go through the reports.
You can if you want, for sure, but the only motion that can be made moving forward is to adjourn. And if it's made and seconded, it immediately goes. There's no vote to it.
What if it doesn't get seconded?
If it doesn't get seconded, we sit in a weird limbo state where we can do nothing but can talk.
Senator Inman.
I motion to adjourn.
Oh, bad.
One hearing a second, we moved into. Do we want to report, is that what you're saying?
No, without hearing a second, no.
Senator Elliott.
For clarification, we can't get rid of the 5-minute break then, that's required.
Yeah. But I don't know how I don't know how we come back together. So weird.
You need a.
Well, she would have to call it back to order and then she can. It's a weird, it's a weird.
So that's just, yeah, it's 5 minutes break. Well, the deal with the.
Yeah, no, if it's Senate. You can't take a vote though. You cannot institute a vote. But can you chair just to see things?
I will be looking for a motion to adjourn. From my perspective, after we're done with reports, but if there's a motion now, I will accept it. Seeing none, we'll be moving on to periodic reports. Does anyone have the report for faculty senate student representative? Seeing none, University of Maine Board of Trustees student representative.
Hi, everyone. There was a board meeting a few weeks ago now. I uploaded the report from that to my Google Drive. If anyone's how to access that and wants to, just ask me and I can show you. It's on the website. Otherwise, I've been in touch with the chair of the board, the secretary of the board about bringing my trustees to have lunch with students in the dining hall at the next board meeting in Maine. And if Rich, the chair of the board, is in support of that, and also if the president of the university said she will help me with that. So, yeah, and then President Tripp and I are still working on hiring. Yeah, we're kind of at a pause, but not a real pause, just like a.
I know we haven't talked, but we're in a full sprint and we happened and we had no idea.
We're in a full sprint. Yeah. In the report.
Chair of the fair election practices.
It was brought to my attention last week that the special election, that was held in April, is never notarized. I got that notarized today. That special election was just to change the wording on the Constitution. It had nothing to do with the student activity fee raise or anything having to do with the executive elections. It was just the wording on the Constitution, so it didn't actually impact anything yet. But it is all handled and report.
Does anyone have a student legal services liaison report? Representative to the graduate students.
No report.
Warner Town Council liaison.
A report.
Old Town City Council liaison.
Report.
For the representative of military and veteran student affairs. The report, I believe I saw it, you had that. Had a meeting with RTC and NRTC. Both branches asked if we could help advertise some of their events that they plan on doing, such as the Zimmerman Challenge. More to come in the future, and a report. Director of Communications.
No report, or something, thanks for the photos, no report. I don't know.
Director of Technology. University of Maine Security Representative.
Hi guys, I met with UVAC twice recently and they've been really good in preparing for a conference in Virginia next Thursday, I believe. And it's like a 14-hour drive, so that's gonna be fun for them. And then along with that, they have an event in February that they're starting to put together. That's really it. In addition to that, security had a meeting for the first time in, I think, 6 weeks. They're moving towards changing what is happening with the blue boxes and trying to make sure that every single rumor is put to an end. There's a lot of stuff going around that is not true, including what Bangor Daily News covered, because nothing has actually been put out by the university with what's happening to them. And in addition to that, they are working on rearranging and talking about the vehicle pedestrian along with scooter pedestrian problems. And they're making a smaller security committee to work on that specifically, and I have been put on that committee. That's really all I have.
Center for Undergraduate Research Liaison.
You said no report, sorry.
Are there any questions for the periodic reports? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to reports of standing committees, starting with policy and procedure.
Executive elections are next week. Evaluations, sorry. Executive evaluations are next week. Please, I know that there's like 8 of us in here, but please bring a charged laptop or iPad. Your phone does not count for this. For that. Other than that, I mean, there's more stipulations than that, but I will just drop them in the chat. End of report.
Services.
Hello, everyone. Last week was stressful, but we're now here. Thank you to everyone who came to the night walk. And to a huge success. We had over 100 individual reports and over 20 volunteers. The next step is to take all those reports and get them processed, which I hope to have done during Thanksgiving break. Facilities management have reached out to maybe Shelmerdine and I regarding the broken light pictures and that they have been moved to a top priority on campus. We'll get all the lighting reports from the night walk, which were the bulk of the reports. Process that we continue communication, hopefully work towards getting the project completed. Other than that, with the night walk over, the services committee will work towards making this a regular semesterly event. And I'll be working towards some potential project plans out for next semester's chair and report.
Seeing no report for academic affairs, are there any questions for the PR standing committees? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to reports of special committees, starting with Holistic Health and Wellness Committee. Does anyone have that report? Seeing none, does anyone have a report for FDA? Undergraduate Student Symposium. I believe no report as well. Voter involvement in education community.
I do have a brief thing. I have been working to kind of increase the scope of the website beyond just a resource for students for voter involvement, and kind of like the education piece of it. Keegan and I talked today, and I've also been working with the head of the political science student association. And we have been throwing around ideas about a political science journal that we will host on our website as well. I have to look into potential licensing that might be needed and printing. I'm already getting some interest from people who I didn't tell, and so he must have told. And I've already had people go like, "Oh, hey, I heard that thing you're doing," and I didn't even know that people knew this because I don't even know if it's happening yet. But I think it will. And then also we've been throwing around ideas for workshops. Such as how to get involved with state government, how to get involved in local government, and then also when the workshop, when the journal does happen, potentially a journal workshop and celebration late next semester. And then I've also just been working on who to potentially get involved with the website outside of the political clubs and political science department. And
Seeing no report for non-traditional commuter and transportation committee, are there any questions for reports of special committees? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to community association reports, starting with President Tripp.
Point of information to BPSO, but could you give a little update about where the Honors College Student Advisory Board is since only 7/13?
Yeah, like I said in my. Like I said in my report, we're gonna be talking about them at SOC this week. They've submitted a whole new set of bylaws for what the organization is gonna look like. I think it's really well done and has longevity. It ropes in all of the kind of existing subcommittees of auditors, from the ambassadors to the mentors to the maintain build back out, and it gives everyone a spot on the committee.
I recognize that I skipped over the representative board reports, so I'll be starting with IFC. His report is that we have induction on the 3rd of December, and a report, Panhellenic Council.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. My name's Emily Neff, and I'm the incoming Panhellenic president. A little bit about me. I'm a nursing major, and the chapter I'm part of is Delta Zeta. And fun fact, I have a dilute tortoiseshell named Bella. She's a cat, and I absolutely adore her. And then I just want to give like a little brief of like my plans for president, which is I'm hoping to like continue to like strengthen our relationships and getting more involved with other organizations on campus, with the sororities and Panhellenic. And also strengthen our relationship with the school, continue to keep chapters accountable and responsible, and overall decrease our recruitment retention rate, and hopefully keep increasing our numbers within the group life community moving forward.
Student Athletic Advisory Council, do we have that report? Senior Council? Senator Elliott?
There are 165 days until graduation. End of the report.
Sustainability Environmental Action Division.
We're compiling a semester report for all of Americans for like clubs and projects on campus and
Are there any questions for the representative board reports? Seeing none, we'll be moving into community association reports, starting with Student Heritage Alliance Council.
The Student Heritage Alliance Council had a really great, I'm not gonna call it like our last meeting, but we had the Friends and Family Feast last Thursday. It was a really big hit. Thanks to the student government fear, we had $6,000 to go and procure food for a large quantity of students and community members here at UMaine. I was super happy to see a lot of you guys there. Everybody who went had a great time. The setup for it was absolute chaos, but we had a lot of help from the office of the Dean of Students, which I was super happy to see. We saw many people over there, like Nancy Morris, Dean, Andrea Gifford. They all came, gave some advice, like helped us get it set up, and it went great. I don't have the exact number of food trays that we had left over, but we filled up 4 fridges across the entire union after the event, and all of which went out to the Black Bear Exchange and to the Bangor Homeless Shelter. Local students. Students here who aren't going home for Thanksgiving are going to have a full Thanksgiving meal, as well as homeless individuals over in Bangor. So it was our pleasure to put this event on, and we look forward to putting it on for years to come, making sure that the University of Maine is involved with the community in that capacity. To close it off, when I went to the homeless shelter, I told them that all this was from the UMaine student government. So you guys got some really good PR in that capacity. So thank you all for making this happen and recording it.
Does anyone have the report for Wildstein? Seeing none, does anyone have the report for ISA?
I was just gonna say for Wildstein, the rep just wanted to say that they appreciated that everyone who came out to the Trans-State Remembrance Vigil.
Does anyone have the report for accessibility on campus? Seeing none, are there any questions for community association reports?
This is what happened. Sure, or we have to go into the 5-minute recess and then out of it.
Senator Inman, move to adjourn.
Second.
No, hearing a second, that is approved.
We have to do attendance at the meeting if it's a motion to adjourn.
Speak now, the meeting's over.